Hello, everyone. Today, during this new moon period, I would like to speak about karmic payback and also how we process the phenomena known as karma and what is karma in general, according to the original teachings that were passed down through authentic spiritual lineages, which sometimes don't even require names or tags. So, first of all, this new moon is quite auspicious because, and again, the new moon means it's a period. During this new moon, we have experienced certain astronomical events, the formations, astronomical celestial formations that are known as yogas. And it's also known as a new moon, which falls onto Jyesta Nakshatra, the constellation of Jyesta, according to Vedic astrology, which is also known as the birthday of Saturn. Now, a lot of people have different relations to Saturnian energy. In my previous video, I spoke extensively on the way we should handle different kinds of transits related to Rahu Ketu aspects. And now I'd like to speak a little bit about this event and also how we deal with karmic energies. What are these karmic energies? First of all, everything is energy, everything is frequency. We know it. Now, whatever we experience in life is emanating from within us, and yet sometimes we're veiled and perceive it as if it's coming from the outside. Sometimes we have a vision about our lives and how we want to live, but yet we do not represent that vision. We have inner distortions, we have resisting currents from within. So, according to the highest teachings, karma is not something which is outside of you. Karma is your vessel, is the body in which you dwell as a soul or as a consciousness, whichever way you like to put it. That is who you are. And it also represents the level of alignment. The less you're aligned with your soul, with your consciousness, with your high existence, the more you experience imbalances or the phenomena of karma, meaning your physical body is constantly emanating something that you're not, or bringing you to the forefront all these circumstances, people, experiences, which appear to be resisting your essence or challenging or questioning your authenticity. And it's not a punishment, it's actually your own consciousness is orchestrating that. It's not something that comes from outside. It's your own consciousness is trying to purge it and get rid of this energy information. Now, the more you are aligned with your consciousness and higher being, the more you experience blissful existence. Now, externally, it looks one and the same, but the perception changes, the quality of life from within changes because you've aligned with the higher being. So it's basically your own soul resists and shows you how you resist the alignment with it and how you fall for different false narratives. So it is the soul that orchestrates challenges to your body through the life circumstances, through this existence in the body, so that you actually come back to the alignment. And if you change the perspective from thinking that you're punished, that you have some kind of issues, to the point where you realize that your own consciousness is pushing you to align the body with it. And everything which is out of alignment is causing friction, appears as challenge or resistance. And the moment you realize that, you start embracing that so-called scary energy, Saturnian energy, which is the energy of taking time, which is the energy of patience, which is the energy of perseverance, which is the energy of consistency, which is the energy of patience, which is the energy of consistent effort and focus and vision. When you are able to tell the illusion from the reality, and what is the illusion? Obsessions, false narratives about you, who you are, who you should be, your identity. And these illusions stretch over a range of things, topics of your life, from finance, from abundance, from spiritual ideas, beliefs, identities, which are false, to how you deal with people, your relationships, your relationship with life in general, how you exhaust yourself through this life. Now, what is soul consciousness? It's an inexhaustible source of energy, especially if it's aligned with higher spheres of existence beyond this human realm and context. Now, the more you align with that energy, at the start especially, the more you will feel resistance and you will think that awakening is challenging. Awakening doesn't mean that you've chosen something or you've created a new narrative. Not at all. Awakening means you've realized the bliss of the soul and you've seen or peeped through the illusion. You are aware of your obsessions, of your delusion, even though it's still there. You are able to tell the difference and you are able to discern. A lot of people ask me about discernment, or they speak about discernment, yet it seems like there's no awareness. How can you discern without being awakened to the ultimate? You can't. And only through awakening you gain that glimpse of clarity, the discernment. But then your inner self, which is wrapped in false identities, ideas, belief systems, can drag you back into this falsehood. A lot of people come onto spiritual path during their Rahu period or Saturn period. And yet they have to face a lot of challenges and delusions of their own to only emerge after these periods as if beat up or empty. Because by the end of these periods, they'll realize that they've known nothing and they've only fooled themselves. And they only filled themselves with such delusion that dragged or drained their energy. Now, is it punishment? No, it's a choice. But it's a choice that is not based on free will, because the only choice which is based on somewhat free will is the choice which is aligned with the soul, when you actually fully established, not only peeped into, not only have an experience like a transitory absorption, but you established yourself in it. Then you may say that you observe the world from that higher standpoint, and that higher standpoint is the standard. That is the high level of discernment. And this is somewhat a free will that is freer than that will which is wrapped in illusion. Most of the people have no free will because their will is conditioned and dictated by social, religious, all kinds of pseudo-spiritual narratives, as well as norms, different kinds of rules and conditions and distortions of their bloodlines, of their communities, etc. So what they're facing after their awakening is that resistance, the resistance of all these conditions, which we call as human context. Spirituality, which is natural in the original, is beyond human context. There's nothing of it from the human realm. Yet when you truly awaken and you start perceiving naturally, intuitively this alignment, or you're pursuing that alignment silently in a concealed way, you feel that you are on a path that doesn't need definition, that cannot be even described. And you start embracing challenges not as foreign, not as damaging, not as those aspects of life that are trying to hurt you or put you into suffering mode, but those that come or sprout out from the occult side of you, the shadow side, the inner currents, the resistance, the conditions, the real enemy. And from that moment on, you stop having external enemies because you realize that no one can affect you as long as you are in the state of alignment and purity. People are affected through their weaknesses. And when you reach that level, you stop seeing life in a divided way where you divide everything into holy, unholy, good, bad, God, devil. You realize it's a wholesome reality where your own existence is on multidimensional levels. And all these levels have to be perceived to the fullest and realized so that they can be dissolved, so that that which is essential, that which is immortal, that which is fundamental remains untouched and transpires through the physical in an unobstructed way. And that's what's the state of true meditation, absorption, yoga, which one and the same states. Equanimity, samadhi arises, and you establish in it when all these layers between your body and your soul are dissolved. It's very clearly described. The path itself is a transmission of the soul. Someone asked me, what is Shaktipat? It's the transmission of the soul. When someone is established, that they emanate it through their presence, not by pretense, through their presence, and they ignite that. But the ignition is not enough because it's the effort in the human body through the human action that makes the difference, that either gets someone somewhere or makes them drain themselves even more. The truth is the transmission. When we gain that glimpse of who we truly are, we can no longer be dishonest to ourselves. And this is the beginning of the journey of self-love or self-worth restoration. You do not restore self-worth or self-love through motivational talks, through, angry acts of taking your power back. You cannot. You can take it for a moment, then you disperse again. There's a difference between being established, being aligned with the truth, which is your consciousness, and dreaming, thinking of it, dispersing. Truth is not of thinking. Truth is of being. And when you are aligned with the being, you perceive grace. The phenomenon of grace is the energy of dissolution of all karmic resistances and currents, and that is transmission. That is transmission, which envelops, unites everyone in that field of existence where there are no superior, inferior beings. There is no human context. There is just existence. And that existence you perceive, and through that existence you awaken. That's why Shaktipat is not by intent. The real Shaktipat is not by intent. It's by being aligned. It's by emanation. It absorbs. It's real because it's the frequency of the soul that pulls you in. It's the soul that reminds you that your existence is far beyond the body, yet the body is your child and it needs to be nurtured. And that's the beginning of this alignment journey, the return. And when you align, you emanate, and it's contagious. You're thoughtless, you are unintentional, but you touch the souls of others. You ignite that light which has been tarnished. From mythological stories, we remember that Saturn is born out of Sun. Sun is the father of Saturn. And there's something to contemplate. Your soul manifests itself into this human context, and this human realm is ruled and governed by the energy of the Saturn. And the Saturn represents everything which is limited. It's the limitation itself. Your body is the limitation. Your thoughts, emotional constructs are all limitations. It means they exist within a limited space. We call them ignorance, but ignorance or evil, it means that which is of limiting or limited nature, which is everything here. Because the moment you are in the limitation, you have a higher chance to get dispersed. It's the energy of fragmentation. You become fragmented. Yet it doesn't last long. And that's why it's also the energy of time, because whatever lasts on this realm or within it is of a certain energy. Limitation is a limited energetic charge. Now, time is of that limited energetic charge. That's what time equals energy. And energy is also information limited within the space. And everything exists only within that charge. Our soul, however, is a part of the unlimited, according to our human current perspective. Much larger cluster of existence. So the only way to restore that connection, to prolong one's life, to balance one's life, to heal one's life, is to start dissolving limitations. The sun is shining upon the Saturnian paradigm and enlightens it. It boosts, it gives it extra energy. The more you're aligned with your soul, with your higher consciousness, the more limitations are dissolved and the less resistance you feel from within or from without. When you don't feel resistance, it means you're thoughtless. You're not trying to resist. You're not trying to control. You're not trying to change. Things just happen. They change on their own because you're in the real flow. People speak about the flow, but they are not representing that flow. To represent the flow, you are to be aligned with the soul. Then you shift the timelines. You are absorbing all those limited currents of times into much larger flow. That's why time starts running differently. In a dispersed mode, your mind exists in a different timeline than when it's absorbed. Through the absorption, you heal. But by the revelation, you reveal those distortive currents, your impatience, your obsessions, your delusions, your agonies, your fears, your controlling tendencies, your trauma, in other words. Now, if you understand this process properly, you will be healing and dissolving the traumatic responses. Your nervous system will be healing. It takes time to heal the nervous system, neurological, biochemical responses, but it's going to be definite. You are going to heal. If you're resisting this process and creating yourself new delusions, you will be sunk. And how it happens through the body itself. The body reflects the condition of your consciousness, so do not fool yourself. If you think that you're extremely spiritual, look at the body, how it functions. If you have pains, if you have difficulties handling your life, and you think that you're so spiritually enlightened because you read so many books and met so many pseudo gurus, think again. Because the reality is this, the reality of your body, of your karma, the vessel that holds either the purified consciousness or refined consciousness or the corrupt consciousness. Ideologies cannot help you. They can bind you more. Thoughtless mind is free from ideologies. That's what it's called. The mind of clarity, the enlightened one. It can't choose it. It can only let it go and release all these obstructions, limitations we call karmic flows or currents or squarey paradigms, limitations, ignorance. All are the same synonyms. True spirituality starts with the body, acknowledging the existence of the soul, and ends with the body, where the soul transpires through alignment and shines through every cell of this body. There's no other way. It has been proven, and proven by one and the same energy, which is time. The time submits to the high existence and allows it to transpire and dissolve it. dissolve it into eternity. If your mind associates with limited paradigms, your body is going to be imbalanced, or in other words, sick, filled with limited currents, parasitic currents of physical, subtle nature. Real awakening is an integral process of understanding all that I just said and transmitted, and refinement, ongoing refinement. And refinement means dissolution and letting go. But you can't do it forcefully. You can't do it by will. It's by the surrendering to the soul itself. You get absorbed. You perceive that grace, that Shaktipat of the existence of creation itself on a high level. And that dissolves all the obsessions, all the limitations, all the distortions and corruption through the process of life. And sometimes you need a reminder. And that reminder is priceless. It's time that brings you the reminder. And that prolongs you as the being on this earth in the way that you've never thought possible. Being on this earth doesn't need to be diseased, imbalanced. And when we take responsibility for our own existence through our higher consciousness, through allowing that higher consciousness to dwell in this body fully, in a balanced way, we enjoy balanced existence. And balance is the key to life. Thank you, everyone, for sharing this time and space. Contemplate. Thank you for all the support. And thank you to all the new subscribers and members. Many blessings to everyone who connects in a proper way, genuinely. And to all the well wishes. Stay aligned and allow your higher being to heal you. Thank you.